And let's not forget an interesting thing that was pointed out recently, last year or two in the book, What's the Matter with Kansas? Why do these people who work for a living and need their wages and need their jobs and need their pensions, these blue-collar people, many of them have white-collar jobs, but they're blue-collar folks, why do they keep voting in these rich people who don't care about them? I mean, I'm not saying you have to vote Democratic, but at least look closely and stop electing people who don't care about you. They just, this system in this country is rigged against the little guy. It's rigged against the little guy, and the little guy keeps putting in these money grabbers, just keeps putting them in one after another, and those people don't care about them in the least. No, there's no compliance in these audiences at all. Once they're against you, they're against you.
What was going on that night? You were mad.
Oh, I do know. I do that. Here's the thing I got to explain about that, because that was isolated in time as if it were a lone incident. When I'm working, now in Vegas, I get this a little more often, not a lot, what I'm going to describe. On the road, I get it occasionally. Someone who wants to be in the show, someone who thinks, their name is on the ticket. I usually say to them, check that ticket. Does that have your name on there? I didn't think it did. So it's got my name, so fuck you. I don't want to hear anything. But a lot of times somebody will yell out something that I don't understand at all. And I don't know if it's negative or positive. So I just say, blow me. If I'm in the middle of some thought, if I'm in the middle of a string, if it comes at an interval or something, I probably handle it differently. But if it interrupts me, I'm liable to say that. So I think that's all that was that night. There's a thing I do on stage that reads as anger by people. I guess I don't blame them for making that error. I'm not an angry man at all, and I really never have been. I don't have a temper. I've never been in a fight in my life. There's no anger in me. Anyone who's been with me 5 minutes or 5 years would say, I've never seen the guy get mad. Irritated a little, in traffic or on a long line that's moving slowly, sure. Irritated. But in these situations, the kind of things I talk about, they're criticisms. They're critical. They're of a critical nature. All I can say is it's more of irritation on my part at my species, irritation and disappointment in my culture in America, what we had to start with, what we could have done, what the species could have done if it had only made a few good decisions, wise decisions, instead of playing to its greed and its weaknesses. So I'm actually a little bit hot under the collar about that. I don't know the right word to use for this stuff anymore. But I said it a long time ago, we're in a pre-fascist state. And I said, when fascism comes to America, it will not be wearing jackboots and brown shirts, and it will be wearing Nike sneakers, and it will have smiley face buttons on the Hard Rock
and carrying
t-shirts.
A flag.
Yeah, of course.
And a Bible.
Always that. But I've never been comfortable because I'm at heart a lefty. If I fell out of an airplane, I would land on the left side of that line. The difference that I define the difference between right wing and left wing. People to the right of center. Well, let's start with the people to the left. People to the left of center, liberals, Democrats, populists. They're interested in people, human beings, and human values. People to the right of the line, Republicans and rich people and right wingers, they're interested in property, not people, and they're soulless. They're without soul. They don't really care. These Christians don't do Jesus' work, which is to feed the poor and take care of the ones who can't help themselves. That's what their Jesus said. Feed those who have no way. To take ones who have nothing going for them. Help them in my name. Don't even want to know about it. Where's that tax return I get? I want my what do they call it? The rebate. I don't know. It's goofy. It's just goofy, man.
So, are you serious when you're right? You think the human race is toast? The planet will be fine, but we're toast.
Yeah, I think this species organized itself very poorly. We had such ability to cooperate and compete. That was what made us unique when we came out of the trees and out of the jungle into the savannah. We were able to cooperate in the hunt, cooperate in finding berries in the gathering stage, and we were able to compete with the environment and the other predators. And now it is mostly compete, very little cooperation. You see the rowboats during the floods, but they're quickly gone. You see people, they pat each other on the back about what we did for the tsunami victims, because that happened instantly, and it was a good news story. It was a one-day story. But the starvation in Darfur and the long-term things that go on, we don't react to them because they're not newsworthy, they're not exciting, they're not glamorous, they're not sexy. We don't care. We fly right over Darfur and Sudan on our way to give our old clothing with the tax return, with the tax break on it. No, I love my work, my writing, and my writing turns into two things: books or stage shows. And the stage shows turn into CDs and DVDs, and those are just delivery systems.
Books doing well?
The first book, the third book, the last one came out in October, 500,000 copies hardcover. 500,000. I'm so proud of that. I keep bragging about it because it's unusual for a comedian on your third book. You know, usually you get a little downhill by the third book.
And you're banned in Walmart? That must be a badge of honor.
I thought that was so nice. They had only ordered 2,500, but Walmart didn't like the cover of the book because I airbrushed Jesus out of the Last Supper and put myself in. Apparently that didn't go over well with what they perceived to be their audience. There's another wicked, evil corporation that it's just nice to be on the opposite side of things. I had an early. The case of mine was decided in 1978 in a 5-4 decision that the FCC had the right to sanction stations that played anything considered indecent. It was a very fine ruling because it had nothing to do with obscenity. Obscenity has a different three-stage test, but indecency they had made up. They created a category of filth just for me.